Next weekend for regular.
Good morning. Nice to have you all here. We have been going through week by week for the last 7 weeks on the chakras. The chakras being the wheels of life force energy. And I've talked about these centers in the body can be somewhat located. If you were to look at human anatomy, there are nerve bundles in each of these particular areas that the ancient, rishis and mystics talked about. And we've gone over the information in pretty much detailed fashion because I've brought up different information through the week for each particular one regarding these chakras, what they govern physically, what the psychological lessons are, the spiritual lessons are, the emotions that are involved. And so one thing I would like to say as a review, because today is kind of a review since we finished that series. We're going to be starting a new series next week based on the kleshas. And the kleshas are concerning the root cause of our suffering. And the yogis talk about 5 of those. So we're going to take a 5-week series beginning next week based on the kleshas. But coming back to the chakras, what you would really want to understand, what the yogis are trying to relay, is that within energy is consciousness itself. That's why there's so much importance on the breath, because the primary portal of energy is through the breath itself. And within the breath is consciousness, and consciousness is this divine intelligence behind everything. So when we feel off, and sometimes we can feel off energetically, sometimes we can feel off mentally, sometimes we can feel off with our communication, sometimes we can feel off with our emotions or physically speaking. So there's all these different layers and levels in which we can feel off. But those moments where we're feeling off is a sign or a signal to us that we're not aligned in the chakras. And this is why this information is important to learn. Because in those moments of feeling off, studying what that is and looking to see where it's been deposited or where it's showing up in the body is a direct link to this information that we've been going over. And that can clue you in on, where do I need to bring more vitality into my body? How can I produce that? And it could be showing us what we need to clear out or what we may need to clear up. And so this is why this is important information. So regarding the first chakra, if we're feeling grounded, if we're feeling safe, if we're feeling secure in who we are, if we feel like we're connected to our roots, but not necessarily bound by our conditioning from our past, we know that we're good in the first chakra. If we're embedded in any type of fear, or we're feeling imbalanced in those things that I mentioned, then we know it's a root chakra issue we need to work with. Same thing as you go up the ladder with the second chakra. If you're feeling good with your sexual expression, with your partner, if you're feeling good about your overall state of emotions, if you're not having issues cropping up with your relationships or career, you're probably pretty stable in your second chakra. But if you're feeling a lot of guilt or a lot of shame, that is the worst thing that can be a counterforce to the second chakra. With the third gives us a sense of confidence. It's whether or not we even like ourselves, because it's the seat of the ego. It's basically who we are with our personality. It gives us our strength and our drive. Well, if we're not feeling empowered, then most likely this is where we need to work, is in the third chakra. And the thing that can really throw us off kilter in the third chakra is major stress and like major types of emotion like anger. When we move up to the fourth chakra, to the heart, if we're loving, compassionate beings, if we're able to feel and express empathy with someone else or with events that happen in the world, then we know we're connected to our heart center. But what can drive us out of that balance or alignment are things like betrayal and severe grief, because we feel a loss or a detachment from the heart. If we're balanced with our expression, if we're speaking our truth, then we're usually in check with the fifth chakra. The counter force here is lies and misinformation. So there's a lot about misinformation going around these days. But that can throw us off kilter here. For the third eye, it's any type of confusion, illusion, or delusion. If you're experiencing that, it's a third eye related issue. Because third eye is about intuition, it's about a creative imagination, it's about insights, it's about, being able to see a new or bigger or broader perspective of things. And when we move up to the crown chakra is the gateway to the cosmos. It's our link to the creator. It's the link to the most wisdom and our connection to everything and everyone. So if we're feeling a state of separateness, if we're feeling really alone, if we're a skeptic towards any type of spiritual information, if we're not able to stay open-minded about things, it's a crown chakra issue. And that's why this information is important. So what we're going to be doing today is a practice that's going to primarily work from the first chakra to the seventh. And we'll be doing some sun sounds with that. We'll be doing some inversions at the end. So let's go ahead and start on the mat on our backs, and we're going to get into our first pose. The legs and feet are going to shimmy over towards the right corner of the mat. The arms are going to splay overhead, and then we're going to curve the upper body to the right as well. Now, I'd like you to keep both heels on the floor. Both sits bones on the ground. And let both shoulder blades be at rest on your mat. You're basically creating a side bend, what we call a yin banana asana. Taking the shape of the banana. However, I want you to look at the shape as more of a crescent moon. Because a crescent moon is an ancient symbol that represents consciousness. So think about, it's our state of consciousness that helps us to perceive the state of reality and even what lies behind our experience. Increasing our awareness and restoring our vitality can offer up peace of mind. So when we use affirmations today, remember affirmations are positive statements meant to promote a healthier connection between our mind, body, and spirit. Affirmations hold the intention of clearing out negative thoughts, energy, or feelings away. Now, if you haven't already started to promote better breaths, do that now, because side bending helps to break up the tension around the lungs. And you want the availability for your lungs to really balloon and expand as you breathe in, and to soften and to deflate as you breathe out. On your next inhalation, go ahead and begin to bring yourself to center, and then travel the feet over to the left corner, and then sway the upper body after that. So you're trying to keep your back body on the floor instead of rolling that right shoulder away. Feel free to close your eyes and to emphasize your breath. side bends like back bends because it's more heart-centered. I tend to focus on a deeper in-breath or a longer in-breath versus the out-breath. And if you want to use an even measured breath, that's actually okay as well. On your next in-breath, go ahead and bring yourself back to the center of your mat. Except when you arrive here, you're going to point your toes and you're going to extend long through your arms and fingertips. Feel the upliftment in your low back. Feel how it arches more. And now flex your feet, push out through your heels, and draw the navel in and up. And notice the engagement, not just in your midriff, but through your hamstrings and calves. And then as you exhale, hug your knees in towards your belly and chest. Elongating and flattening the low back, giving a little compression to the belly. All right, when you're ready, take the hands, slip them up underneath the crease of the knees. Rock and roll forward, crisscross your ankles when you come up to sit. And try to come up the Kundalini way without using your hands. Yeah. And then flatten the soles of the feet at the top of the mat. Look down and spread the toes as best you can. And see if you can actually see the coloration of your mat in between each one. Power down through the feet so you feel the muscles in the legs ignite. And then also zip up through your navel. Notice when you do that, the sternum lifts and the shoulders will naturally kind of hang back. Bring your hands to prayer position at your heart. We're going to begin our first Surya Namaskara. As you inhale, we're coming into chair pose, Utkatasana. So keep your feet gripping down, your hips and thigh bones releasing back. Elongate through your side body, up through your side traps, your palms face each other. And then on your next exhalation, bring your palms together, start to straighten out your legs and fold into Uttanasana. Shift your weight forward towards your toes. Lift through your seat, hug the belly in, and bow over and down. We're holding this for a couple extra breaths just to warm up the back of the body. And as you're holding Uttanasana, I want you to consider how this first affirmation goes well with the first chakra. Nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back. This is why we continue to evolve beyond our conditioning from our past. This is why we do the self-work so that we can break any ancestral patterns that have been toxic. Inhale, come halfway up. Slide your hands up to your shins. Lengthen out through the vertebrae. Exhale, pour back down, Uttanasana. And on your next inhale, step back to plank. And when you arrive to plank, stay long and strong through your arms. Make sure your heart shines forward, your head stays lifted. And then tip forward, shoulders past your wrists. Exhale, drop low to chaturanga. Land your knees and bloom up with your heart. Open up your throat center, upward facing dog. Curl the toes, and as you exhale, rock and roll back to downward facing dog. Spread out through your fingers, just like you did your toes earlier. Press into the mounds of the hands so there's less weight in your wrist. Extend long through the spine, even if you have to bend your knees to get the hips to their highest degree. Take a deep breath in. Slow breath out. Inhale, let's step the left foot all the way up between the hands. So first chakra involves legs, feet, standing poses. So turn and plant your back foot, helicopter up to warrior two. Grounding both feet, lunging the front knee, making sure the front thigh is more parallel to the floor if possible. Draw up through your heart center, splay out with your arms. Flip your left palm open, reverse that warrior, gaze up beyond your arm. Exhale, take it down to side angle, your expression. But I want you to notice your back leg and foot. Plug your back thigh in and your right foot down. Equalize that weight distribution. And understand that you are a strong and powerful being. Now, cast your gaze down towards your left foot, spin out of your back heel, land your hands to frame it. Good, step back, plank. Tip forward, exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhaling to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Pausing here in your downward facing dog. Slow, deep breaths. Inhale, we'll take that to the other side. The right foot needs to step ahead. The back foot's going to spin down. Helicopter up, Virabhadrasana 2. Bringing the energy from the earth up into the crown. Setting your eyes on one placement. Flip your right hand. Inhale, reverse that warrior. Exhale, bring it down to side angle. Notice how most of the weight shifts to the front side, the right leg. So really activate your left. Dial open through your chest. One more breath. When you're ready, look down, spin away from the back heel. We're going to step it up to the top. When the left foot lands, drive the heart lower towards your knees and chins. Bow your head. Inhale halfway up. Ardha Uttanasana. Good, exhale, flow down. Inhale, Utkatasana chair. Affirming for the first chakra. I am stable, safe, and grounded. Now bring your hands to prayer position at your heart. We're going to start working into the second. We're moving on up. Shift your weight to your left foot. Cross the right ankle over your left knee. And sit down a little deeper. Balance and breathe. Inhale, come up a little bit, ground your right foot, solidify it down, elevate your left foot, eventually stacking it to the right thigh or knee. Sit down and back. Look at your eyes. Press the top foot. Good. Exhale, release the foot. Fold straight down to your Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, let go. Letting go is part of the spiritual lesson of the second chakra. Inhale, step back plank. Exhale, tip forward, lower down to your chaturanga. Inhale to your upward facing dog. Exhale all the way back, downward facing dog. Now, look back, when you transition to downward facing dog, notice how much space is between the big toes. And if you can, narrow that space. And then inhale, we're gonna lift the right leg up. Push into your hands, shoot up and out through the right foot. Now bend the top knee. Start to swivel through the hips. Take downward scorpion. Be cautious though with that turn, since we haven't warmed up the inner left thigh. Find your edge. And then unroll that twist in the hips. Bring the shin to the front of your mat behind your hands. Walk or slide to your left leg farther back. And when you're ready, release. Over and down to pigeon. I want you to scan from your face, starting at your forehead. Softening the skin there that often shows expression. Soften the crease between the eyes that often shows concentration. Relax your cheeks, the sensory organs, the interior, exterior of your mouth. Bring that softness down into your belly. Try not to resist in your hips. Let them succumb to gravity. And then neutralize your back leg and foot. Emphasize a longer, slower exhalation. Notice how the sensation may change through the time holding your position. Notice how thoughts may change the longer you linger here. Even your breath might alter. Second chakra also is about accepting, being adaptable to change. So affirm internally, I am accepting and adaptable to change. On your next in-breath, we're slowly going to lift the face. Walk the hands in. Drop onto your right hip so that you can bring the left foot around. Take a hold of it with your right hand and see if it's possible to double stack. All right, if that's too much, take the foot over to the floor in front. Yeah, and you're still gonna get the work, okay? Even with the big gap like I have here, you know, just stay mindful when you push down through your fingertips. We're all gonna do this alongside the hips and rise up through the crown of the head. There are some days where this is enough once you extend the spine. Feel the relationship between the two parts. And then if you feel comfortable and confident enough to fold down, your body's accepting and willing to go there, move into that space. Of course, as we're going through these various postures, notice where you may have pockets of pain or discomfort. Notice where you may have lack or limitation. And even in those moments where you feel a little, disconnected, just know that just promoting more vitality and life force into this area is going to be helpful. Mental work would be finding that relationship between life and this issue and finding the root cause. And that's the idea of the next series when we talk about the glaciers, going to the root cause of what is causing suffering. So like last night, Rob and I decided we were going to start an open discussion at the dining room table after dinner, because we have 2 teenagers now who are starting to close up and are not wanting to share or communicate as much. And we can tell there's some things going on, right? We can see their wheels turning. And so I decided to open it up. I was like, okay, we're all going to talk about one thing that's weighing on us, something that we haven't spoken up about. And we've been holding it in. I said, I'll start. And I started. And then my son. And as much as he's loving his new high school, it was the first time he said, I'm kind of regretting not going to Centennial. I'm kind of regretting the fact that we moved. I had to leave all my friends behind. And it's the first time he said anything. But opening up and sharing your thoughts, your feelings can be healing and more aligning to the chakras. And then Rob went, and his daughter went. And there were some big things that came up from that. But we're going to work, not just with the chakras, but in this next series, finding the root cause. Inhale, let's slowly come up. Let's lean onto the right hip. We'll carry the left leg back to set up our hands, to curl the back toes, and to bring ourselves to plank. If you want the vinyasa, now is your opportunity. If you want to skip it and hold down dog, that's acceptable as well. When you get to downward facing dog, check out the placement of your feet. Since we're lifting one leg, we want to maintain our balance, so close the gap. And inhale, lift your left leg up. Bend the top knee. Spin open through the hips. Downwards forward. Ready, unroll. Bring that shin to the front of the mat. Sink the back knee, extend the back leg. And take the more relaxed form of pigeon. Sink and surrender. As a reminder, one of the spiritual lessons of the second chakra is developing a deep state of trust and surrender. Maybe be contemplative. What has you pigeonholed? What is blocking you to trust and surrender to the higher power? To the things that may not be in your control. how appropriate exhalations are in that state of surrender. And how it slowly starts to move that. We'll lean on the left side. We'll pick up the right foot. We'll catch it and see if it's possible to place on the left knee. All right, if that's too much, too funky, or if it hurts, don't do it. Step the foot over to the other side. And then just test the waters. Pressing through the finger pads, lifting through the chest. Again, this may be plenty. You may want to forward fold. Just notice what shows up, how it shows up. Help slowly start to back away from that pose. We'll lean onto the left side so we can take the right leg back behind. We're going to downward facing dog next. So once you curl the back toes, lengthen back to downward facing dog and let your hips get a nice flush. Feel that energy disperse. You may feel it flowing down. You may feel it spreading out. You may feel it even coming up. On your next inhalation, let's bring the feet to the top of the mat, however you want to arrive. Coming to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, flow down, belly, chest, and face. Inhale, taking your Utkatasana, your chair pose. Moving up to the third, bring your hands down to rest on your thighs. We're going to take a deep breath in. Hold the breath, pump the belly in and out. Let it go. Breathing in. Hold the breath. Belly pumps in and out. Release. One more. This is an Ayurvedic technique, cleansing the stomach. All right, inhale back to chair. Utkatasana, arms lift. Exhale, straighten your legs, forward fold. Uttanasana. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway up. Exhale, see if it's possible to plant your hands and to go to chaturanga, using upper body and core strength. Inhale, lift to upward facing dog, stretch out the abdomen. And exhale, we're coming to tabletop position. So the hips back up. All right, once you're set up in tabletop, extend your right leg, float the foot higher than your hips. Press to the palms and lift your head up. So it's like a cow tilt. And as you exhale, round in like a cat stretch. Inhale, similar to cow tilt, but right leg extends. Exhale, nose towards knee. 3 more. So core is usually requiring abdominal work. But twists are also great. So lower the right knee down, flip your left palm open, thread it underneath the right arm, sink down towards the left ear. Be in an active thread the needle pose, pushing back into your left rib cage, your left shoulder blade, belly draws in, breath stays full. Inhale, unthread the left arm, plant the palm. Lengthen your left leg back on your in-breath. Look forward, and then exhale. Drive the nose and knee towards one another, no intention to touch. Inhale, open up. Exhale, curl in. 3 more, in sync with the breath. Last one. Coming to the table, flipping your right palm and looping it underneath the left arm. Drawing through the table. Take some deep breaths. And the third chakra is all about the fire inside. Drive, our passion, what motivates us. What creates who we are as an individual, our own expressive nature. Inhale, unwind from the twist. Curl the toes under, launch into downward facing dog. So to use the core a little bit more here to step to the front of the mat, we're actually going to see if we can hop or float to the front of the mat. So we need strong arms, strong foundation through the hands, bend the knees, get some buoyancy in the hips, look forward and see if you can lightly hop the feet to the front, lifting up halfway when you do. And then exhale, roll back in. Inhale to Utkatasana. Affirming, I am strong and confident in who I am. Bring the hands down to the thighs. We're moving into the fourth. Rolling open to cow. Exhale to cat. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. We're just flexing the spine both directions. Inhale, return to Utkatasana. Exhale, fold into Uttanasana. Inhale, arch up. Exhale, release. Inhale, take plank. Exhale to chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to low baby cobra. So when you come down to the belly, lift your hands. Let your arms kind of squeeze in towards your side body. Lengthen your leg bones back, back, back. Take some deep diaphragmatic breaths. Let your upper body lift. On the inhale, sink slightly on the exhale. Now spread your wings. Call the arms the wings of the heart. When you're ready, lift your legs, soaring upwards on wings of joy and self-acceptance. Lesson of the fourth chakra. If you feel ready to clip a hold of the front side of your ankles and lift to bow, the arms create the attachment The shoulders draw back to open the heart wider and breathe diaphragmatically. If you want to just do cobra, speaks some sort of back bend, because I know this one's a lot. Exhale, release. Come down to the brow. Shift up. Push back into extended child's pose. Hands super glued to the mat. Arms outstretched. Feel the work in the pit of the arms at the top of the chest. This is really good for breast health. Part of the heart center. Inhale, rock up to hands and knees. Exhale, curl your toes, launch into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Letting your seat be the pinnacle of the pose. When you're ready, stepping, lunging, or floating the feet to the top, arching up on arrival. Exhale, release, melting the heart down and in. And when you're ready, inhale, taking it to chair. From chair pose, we're going to bring it down for the fifth chakra. So the arms are going to be in front of you. The heels are going to elevate up, and you're going to slowly sink to toe balance. Bring your hands to a prayer position at your heart. Lift the crown over the tailbone if you can. Slowly turn your head to the left. May throw you off balance. Keep your eyes steady. Head faces the front. And now turn from your neck to the right. Bring the head to center. Lean forward, lower your hands, and let your hands assist you in coming down to the floor. All right, so we're starting to work into the neck now. Take your arms out, feet a little bit more forward of your hips. I wanted to have everybody have a walk. Here, I'm gonna hand you one really quick. Sorry about that. Used to me now. Okay, now we have our block. Arms open, belly in. Tuck the chin in too. And roll it down one vertebra at a time. If you need to hold or catch your thighs, you can. Have your blocking hands reach. We'll need it eventually. Walk your feet back, heels align underneath the knees. Arms beside you, palms down. Inhale, press through the soles of the feet. Tuck and lift your thighs, hips, abdomen, chest. Circle the arms alongside your ears. And then exhale, bring the arms with you as you lower one vertebra at a time. Slow and steady. Inhale, rising up to Setu Bandhasana bridge. Exhale, you're slowly coming back down. Continue this process as slow. Notice the additional traction you receive when you lift up. Notice when you rise, the hips are higher than the heart. The heart is lifted higher than the head. And the neck, the throat center, is the bridge between the mind and the body, the mind and the heart. The next time you come down, you're going to keep your arms secure to the floor. Inhale, lift back to Setu Bandhasana. Push down through the mounds of the big toes. Now take a hold of your block, slip it underneath your sacrum. Sit on it. And then suspend your feet in the air, waterfall. So now we're inverting ourselves a little bit more. Instead of just the hips being higher than the heart, now we have the legs and the feet lifted higher than the hips. It all cascade down towards the lake of the mind. This is actually good for 5th, 6th, 7th, not just the 5th. The affirmation here, new peace, new consciousness now floods into my being. I shared a quote with you, I think last week or the week before, and it said something like, when everything falls into place, I will know peace. But then it says, flip it. If I discover my peace, everything else will fall into place. Now gently release the feet to the floor. Tuck and lift away from the block. Gently lower down to the sacrum. Solidify your arms beside you. Lift the legs and take them over the face to plow pose. A deeper inversion for the 5th chakra, but again, it's still good for the 6th and the 7th as well. The toes may or may not touch the floor. If you need to just lift your legs and say plow to your back, that's okay. All right, we're going to begin our roll out. When you're ready, take your hands. If they were resting on your back, take them back to the floor. Grip in your belly. Maintain some control as you descend down one vertebra at a time. And then continue to lower the legs and the feet. When your feet land, you're going to roll to one side of your body to slip the opposite hand underneath you. And then you'll lean towards the side of the body with the hand below so that you can take the other one underneath for fish. Once the elbows are kind of tucked in underneath your side ribs, extend out through your shins and feet. Push down through the elbows, lift up through your chest, hang the head back, open your throat nice and wide. But everything that we were bringing into that narrow passageway of the throat, we're now opening up to bring down to the crown of the head. Talked about the elements, earth, water, fire, air. Then we went into ether, which is sound and vibration. And third eye, which the elements is light. Affirm internally, I float on waves of cosmic light. Inhale, slowly lift the head up. Tuck the chin to the chest, or come back down. Hug your knees in, releasing your arms. And then roll to one side of your body to come up. So we're going to do a couple more postures before Shavasana. If you come to a seat, sitting on your shins, we're not going to stay here. We're actually keeping the hands beside the ankles and rolling over to child's pose. So even though child's pose is considered somewhat of a neutral position, there's lots of benefits to gain here. And one of those benefits is a easy inversion. And we get to rest on the acupressure point for the mind's eye. We did a lot of down dogs already. That's another
primary pose for the third eye. But what I'd like you to do now is just slowly roll your weight over to the right. So you're leaning towards your right thigh, rolling towards your right temple. And then come back to center, back to the center of the brow, and then lean your weight slightly to the left and roll across your brow towards your left temple. And so you're just gently rocking and rolling from one side to the other. Re-arrive to center. Grab a hold of your ankles. Slide your forehead closer to your knees. Pick up your hips. Keep your arms attached to the ankles and rest on the top of the head. Sasana hero pose. Three breaths.
Affirmation being here, I am master of my energy. I am master of myself. Crown chakra is about self-realization. Recognizing we do at least have control over our thoughts, words, and actions. And release. You're going to come to a seat, sitting on your bolster. Extending your spine. Your hands are going to come up to the scalp, and you're going to massage your scalp. It's not as blissful as if you were at the hair salon getting it done, but I like to take the heel of the hands and massage the area above the ears or to the sides of the head. Remember, anywhere we're getting a massage, right? The energy is moving into that area. If you get Reiki, wherever the hands are placed, that's where the energy is being directed. When we do an asana, wherever we're getting the stretch, that's where the circulation and energy is headed. So know that you're simulating these two top tiers. All right, now start to raindrop and sprinkle the fingertips over the head. This is called tapping. And do it across the brow. Maybe take your middle finger and tap the third eye. And then sprinkle the fingers under the eyes, across the cheeks. This tapping has been known to help with some trauma-related issues. They use this as a form of therapy. Right? Because the issues are trapped in the tissues of the body. And if you look at energetic anatomy, if you look at Chinese medicine, if you look at the new information coming out about fascia, that softer, webby tissue right underneath the skin that overlays the muscles, that's where the intelligence, the information flows. Tap your throat. Across the collarbones. Across your chest. Sternum. And release your hands. Sitting for just a moment. There's something about that tapping. It's a very good prelude to meditation. Gives you that tingle. Allows you to drop in. So I wanted to sit you here first because if you feel like you're being drawn more to meditation, then stay here. Because it truly is the greatest and highest form of yoga. I also realize you may need relaxation, you may be tired, you may need rest, and you may just want Shavasana. So if you're wanting that state of Shavasana, then please recline. And feel free to use any of your props. Trust the message you receive and where you need to go. If you maneuvered to a supine position, take your time getting settled. Maybe take a couple deep breaths. The remainder of the practice be the practice of seeing if we can breathe our way into a state of peace and bliss. Bring a little movement to your hands and feet. Begin exhaling the pose. Turn to a comfortable seat. Joining your palms together. The lesson of the crown chakra is about the state of union. Realizing that we are part of the whole is a part of us. And there's another expression that comes up with Namaste, and it says, when I am seated in my heart space and you are embedded in your heart space, we are one. And hopefully through your journey with yoga and meditation, you have tasted this truth, and experienced it for yourself. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste.